This little fish packs a powerful punch. It's one of the richest natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids, those anti-inflammatory superfats your body can't make on its own. Every year, over 2 million tons of sardines are caught around the world. But have you ever wondered what happens after they're pulled from the ocean? How do billions of tiny fish go from the deep blue sea to neatly stacked cans on supermarket shelves? In this video, we're diving into the world of sardine fishing and canning to uncover the entire journey from sea to shelf. Did you know canning actually played a huge role in human history? It completely revolutionized the food industry, making it possible to deliver safe, nutritious products to people everywhere. Suddenly, foods that were once out of reach became part of everyday life. It was a total game changer. And when we talk about canned food, nothing stands out quite like sardines. These little fish have been around for centuries, and they're actually named after the Italian island of Sardinia, where they were once found in massive numbers. Sure, sardines can be eaten fresh, but they spoil super fast. That's why they're usually canned, to dramatically extend their shelf life. In fact, a single can of sardines can last over 10 years in theory. Fun fact, canning was invented by a Frenchman back in the early 1800s when Napoleon needed a way to feed his army. From there, the technique spread like wildfire, and the rest is history. Sardines are schooling fish. They travel in massive groups and tend to gather in big oceans like the Atlantic, Pacific, and the Mediterranean. Since they feed exclusively on plankton, their mercury levels are incredibly low, making sardines one of the healthiest and safest seafood choices out there. With global demand through the roof, more than 2 million tons of sardines are caught each year for the canning industry. And because that's such a huge volume, nearshore fishing just isn't enough. Fishermen rely on large, deep-sea vessels outfitted with advanced tech, sonar systems, depth finders, GPS tracking, and current sensors to accurately locate massive schools of sardines. Once a swarm is found, they launch enormous purse-seine nets, sometimes as wide as 7 football fields, to surround the entire school in a single drop. That's the first step in the journey that brings these tiny ocean travelers all the way to your plate. Once they've gathered tightly enough, the net is dropped fast to trap the entire school in one go. In this phase, speed and precision are everything. Just a few seconds too slow and the fish scatter. Once surrounded, the giant net is slowly drawn in, concentrating the sardines into one area. They're gently lifted onto the deck and funneled into holding tanks below, with a steady flow of seawater to protect their delicate bodies from bruising. Here, the fish go through basic prep, a quick rinse, size sorting, and rapid chilling to lock in freshness. For fish caught closer to port, chilling is enough. But for earlier catches, they're flash frozen at around 0 degrees Fahrenheit to preserve quality all the way back to shore. Thanks to their naturally high fat content, frozen sardines can stay in top shape for up to 6 months without losing much in flavor or texture. Once the boat docks, the sardines are unloaded fast and transferred onto refrigerated trucks headed straight for the processing plant. Whether the fish were chilled or flash frozen at sea, they arrive at the facility ready to be handled. At the factory, the scale of operations is massive. Nearly 1 million sardines are processed every single day. To keep things running smoothly, the plant relies on a combination of high-tech machinery and around 800 workers. Every step is carefully optimized to make sure the fish are processed within 5 hours of unloading. That's key to locking in peak freshness and quality. As soon as the fish arrive, workers check the internal temperature and pull samples for chemical analysis. If the batch was frozen, it goes through a tightly controlled thawing process. The sardines are placed into cold water tanks and slowly defrosted, with the water kept below 41 degrees Fahrenheit to avoid damaging the delicate flesh. Once thawed, the fish move into an automated distribution system and are gently carried along conveyor belts. There, the sardines are sorted by size and dropped into the appropriate holding bins. Next up, the sardines take a quick bath in brine. That's just a fancy term for salt water. They're soaked in a 25% salt solution for about 15 minutes. The main goal here? To pull water out of the fish and replace it with salt. As the water content drops, sodium and chloride ions from the brine seep into the flesh, while excess moisture and other dissolved substances are drawn out. It's a simple but crucial step to preserve the fish and enhance flavor. Now let's be honest. No one wants to open a can of sardines and see a bunch of heads and tails. So the next step is cleaning. This part is done almost entirely by hand, and it's impressive. Most of the workers, primarily women, work at an incredibly steady and precise pace. With just a flick of the wrist, they remove the fish's head and pull out the guts in one smooth motion. No fancy tools, no complicated machinery, just one small incision near the belly, and out comes everything that needs to go, without damaging the rest of the fish. If any guts are left inside, the fish can go sour. And no machine is more precise than a human hand when it comes to making sure the job's done right. But there's a catch. Sardine skin is paper thin and tears super easily. That's why workers don't use their whole hand. Instead, they gently tug using just 2 fingers, like they're handling something as delicate as fine china. Once the sardines are sorted, they're carefully arranged in trays with their tails pointing upward. This setup helps the fish cook evenly from head to tail during the steaming process. Next, the trays move into a rinse station for one final wash. And, yep, you can actually see any leftover blood being rinsed away. From there, the fish travel down the line, loaded onto carts, and rolled into the steam room. Inside, the sardines are placed into baskets or racks, then loaded into large industrial steamers. In the steaming chamber, they're heated to between 212 degrees Fahrenheit and 230 degrees Fahrenheit for about 7 to 12 minutes, depending on their size. That's just enough time to cook them through without overcooking or breaking apart the flesh. This step not only cooks the fish, but also helps remove the pale white film that clings to their bodies and reduces some of the natural oils found in fatty fish. And it's only after steaming that sardines begin to release their signature savory aroma. Once the steaming's done, the trays are tilted slightly to drain out any excess brine, fish oil, and condensed steam. The sardines are then allowed to cool for at least an hour, all in preparation for the next big step, canning. First, workers trim off the tails to make sure each fish fits perfectly inside the standard size can. Then comes the real artistry, arranging the sardines inside the can like they're piecing together a delicate little mosaic. They know exactly how many fish go into each can to hit the required weight. No more, no less. The fish are packed in an overlapping pattern to make the most of the limited space, usually 6 to 8 sardines per can, depending on their size. Properly canned sardines don't have that strong fishy smell, contain low levels of formaldehyde, and offer a perfect balance of tender texture, clean flavor, and just the right bounce when you bite into them. Thanks to careful handling and proper storage, the final product stays fresh, nutritious, convenient, and shelf-stable, ready whenever you are. Once the sardines are neatly packed into their cans, it's time to add the flavor boosters, like tomato sauce, chili paste, mustard, or sometimes even a slice of lemon or a whole chili pepper. Each variety has its own unique twist, giving you plenty of tasty options to suit different cravings. After that, the cans head to a weighing station to make sure every single one meets the standard weight. No shortchanging here. Then they pass under a nozzle, kind of like a mini shower, where a light stream of refined olive oil is drizzled over the fish. This oil isn't just for flavor. It also helps preserve the fish, mellow out the bold sauces, and keep the overall taste smooth and balanced. Whether you like it spicy, tangy, or classic, each can is carefully crafted to bring out the best in these little ocean gems. At this stage, a sealing machine uses high pressure to tightly seal the can lids, creating a vacuum inside, which helps preserve the fish for a long time without needing any artificial preservatives. Each can is completely sealed and filled with oil, making sure almost all the air inside is eliminated. Depending on the brand, the lid might be a pull tab like a soda can, or it could have a twist key attached to the side or bottom. Finally, the sealed cans pass through a washing machine that sprays hot water at around 194 degrees Fahrenheit to clean off the entire surface, leaving them spotless and ready to ship. Once the cans are sealed, they head into a sterilization chamber designed to eliminate any remaining bacteria or microorganisms. This process takes place inside a high-pressure steam chamber. Each can spends over 50 minutes inside, under about 21 psi of pressure and heated to around 233 degrees Fahrenheit. Thanks to this intense heat treatment, the final product is so safe and shelf-stable that workers throughout the facility aren't even required to wear gloves. That's how confident they are in the process. After sterilization, the cans still have condensation on the outside, so they need to be fully dried to prevent oxidation, which could affect both quality and shelf life. As a final check, workers gently tap each can by hand. The sound it makes tells them whether there's excess moisture inside or if the weight is off. It's a simple test, but incredibly effective. Once all the processing and sterilization steps are complete, the sardine cans head into the final stage, labeling and packaging. Even though the production line is packed with advanced machinery, labeling is still done by hand to make sure every can looks clean, clear, and ready to impress on store shelves. Thanks to the seamless teamwork between the automated systems and nearly 800 workers, this factory cranks out around 300,000 cans of sardines every single day. But here's the twist. The cans don't get shipped out right away. Instead, they go into a special resting zone for 90 days. This aging period allows the flavors to fully develop, the texture to stabilize, and the product to reach its peak deliciousness by the time it hits the market. At the height of the season, the factory's storage facility can hold up to 4 million cans, ready to supply sardine lovers around the world year-round. And because demand is non-stop, this entire process runs all year long. No breaks. When shopping for canned sardines, go for the ones packed in water or pure olive oil for a healthier option, since some versions can be a little heavy on the salt. If low sodium isn't available, a quick rinse before eating can help tone it down. What about you? Are you a fan of canned sardines? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your favorite way to enjoy them. If you found this video interesting, give it a like and share it with someone who'd appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more behind-the-scenes food stories. See you next time.